Welcome, dear viewers, to a journey of reflection and inquiry into the intricate world of war and power politics. Today, we delve deep into the age-old question of whether the ends can truly justify the means. This is not just a historical inquiry, but a timeless exploration of the ethics of statecraft and the pursuit of higher ends. Our exploration begins by examining a concept that emerged during the early modern period in Europe: raison d'etat, or reason of state. This notion forced philosophers and politicians to confront the moral dilemma of using violent and even unethical means in the service of higher political ends. But what exactly is raison d'etat, and why does it continue to shape the course of history? The origins of raison d'etat can be traced back to figures like Cardinal Richelieu, who served as the first minister under Louis XIII of France. Richelieu's influence extended far beyond his time, inspiring not only his contemporaries but also modern political thinkers like Henry Kissinger and Alexander Dugin, a key figure in Vladimir Putin's circle. So, what was at the heart of Cardinal Richelieu's political philosophy? Well, it revolved around the concept that the state itself is a significant entity, and its interests could sometimes outweigh conventional moral considerations. This perspective had a profound impact not only on the nature of early modern warfare and military ethics, but also on the very identity of the French nation. Imagine a France torn apart by religious wars in the late 16th century. Richelieu's emphasis on the state as a stabilizing force separate from religious motivations shifted the focus away from religious conflict to the state's role in maintaining order and pursuing its higher objectives. Now, let's fast forward to the present day. How does this historical concept of raison d'etat continue to shape our world? How does it influence the actions of modern leaders like Vladimir Putin, and what is their vision for the future? It's intriguing to see how Putin and his ideological ally, Alexander Dugin, are not seeking a return to communism, but rather envision the revival of the Russian monarchy and the establishment of a conservative, traditionalist order known as Novorossiya, or New Russia. But what drives these leaders, and how does their pursuit of higher ends align with the principles of raison d'etat? As we explore these questions, we'll also consider the role of philosophy in shaping these ideas. We'll touch on the influence of neo-Stoicism, a philosophical movement that embraced virtues like self-discipline and indifference. How did these philosophical ideals integrate into the concept of raison d'etat? Join us as we embark on this intellectual journey, and together, we'll navigate the complex terrain of war and power politics in the service of higher ends. Our ultimate goal is to provoke thought and encourage meaningful conversations about the moral dimensions of statecraft and the responsibilities of leaders in our ever-changing world. So, my dear viewers, are you ready to dive deep into the ethical waters of political philosophy? Let's embark on this voyage of introspection and exploration together. Let us begin our journey by unraveling the concept of raison d'etat, a term that echoes through the annals of history, shaping the actions of leaders and the fate of nations. Imagine a world in the midst of early modernity, a time when the idea of raison d'etat, or reason of state, began to take root in European politics. It was an era marked by tumultuous religious conflicts and the emergence of powerful nation-states. In this environment, thinkers and statesmen grappled with a profound question: is it justified to employ violent or even ethically questionable means in the pursuit of higher political goals? One of the key figures at the heart of this intellectual and political transformation was Cardinal Richelieu, who served as the first minister under Louis XIII of France. Richelieu's influence extended far beyond his time, as his ideas continue to inspire modern political thinkers. But what exactly was raison d'etat, and why did it become such a pivotal concept? At its core, raison d'etat revolved around the belief that the state itself is a significant entity, separate from individual interests and even conventional moral considerations. This notion had a profound impact on the conduct of statecraft and the ethics of warfare. Think of it this way: when the state's interests were at stake, it was believed that leaders could employ strategies and tactics that might be considered violent or even immoral in other contexts. This concept had far-reaching consequences, not just for politics, but for the very fabric of society. Now picture a France torn apart by religious wars. Richelieu's emphasis on the state as a stabilizing force shifted the focus away from religious motivations for conflict. It introduced a new perspective, one where the state's survival and prosperity became paramount. Fast forward to today, and we find ourselves pondering the relevance of raison d'etat in our contemporary world. How do modern leaders like Vladimir Putin draw from this historical concept? What are their visions for their nations, And how do they justify their actions in the name of the state? As we explore these questions, let's also consider the role of philosophy in shaping these ideas. Neo-Stoicism, a philosophical movement embracing virtues like self-discipline and indifference, played a significant role in the raison d'etre discourse. How did these philosophical ideals intertwine with the pursuit of higher political ends? These are complex and profound questions, and our journey has only just begun. Together, we will navigate the intricate terrain of war and power politics in the service of higher ends. We will reflect on the moral dimensions of statecraft and the responsibilities of leaders in our ever-changing world. So, dear viewers, as we dive deeper into the ethical waters of political philosophy, let's keep our minds open and our curiosity alive. The journey ahead is bound to be thought-provoking and enlightening. As we delve deeper into the realm of raison d'etre, let's focus our gaze on Cardinal Richelieu, a man whose influence reverberated through the corridors of power in early modern France. Cardinal Richelieu was a mastermind of statecraft, a man who personified the concept of raison d'etre during his time. But what made him so remarkable? And how did his actions shape the course of history? Picture France in the 17th century, a nation torn apart by religious strife and internal conflict. Cardinal Richelieu stepped onto this turbulent stage as the chief minister to King Louis XIII. His vision was clear: to centralize and strengthen the power of the French monarchy. Richelieu believed that a strong, unified state was essential for stability and prosperity. In pursuit of this goal, he wasn't afraid to wield power ruthlessly. He navigated through the treacherous waters of court politics, often clashing with nobles who resisted his reforms. But here's where raison d'etre comes into play. Richelieu argued that in the service of the state, certain actions that might be considered morally questionable were not only justified, but necessary. He famously said, "One must accept evil in order to accomplish good." This idea is both intriguing and morally challenging. Can the pursuit of a greater good ever justify ethically ambiguous means? It's a question that echoes through the centuries, from Richelieu's time to our own. Think about contemporary political leaders facing complex decisions. How do they balance the demands of raison d'etre with the moral expectations of their societies? Can we draw a straight line from Richelieu's era to today's geopolitical landscape? Richelieu's legacy is a testament to the enduring power of political philosophy. His ideas continue to influence the actions of leaders worldwide. But what do you think, dear viewers? Is raison d'etre a necessary tool in the arsenal of statesmanship, or does it present a dangerous ethical slippery slope? As we explore the rich tapestry of history and philosophy, let's remember that the past is not just a distant memory, it's a source of wisdom and reflection. In our next segment, we'll journey further into the complexities of raison d'etre and its implications for modern governance. In our journey through the annals of history, we've arrived at a crossroads where philosophy and politics intersected in a most intriguing way: neo-Stoicism and power politics. Imagine this, my friends. It's the early modern era, and Europe is grappling with violence, turmoil, and religious strife. In the midst of this chaos, a philosophical movement emerges: neo-Stoicism. Neo-Stoicism wasn't just an abstract philosophy. It was a practical approach to life that embraced virtues like self-discipline, rationality, and indifference toward one's own fate. Now, how does this connect with raison d'etre? Well, you see, neo-Stoicism became a guiding force for individuals in society, including those in positions of power. Leaders, much like Cardinal Richelieu, adopted these Stoic virtues as they navigated the treacherous waters of statecraft. But here's where it gets fascinating. Neo-Stoicism didn't just influence personal conduct, it began to shape the very fabric of governance. Leaders like Richelieu believed that the ruler, guided by raison d'etre, should be the embodiment of the state. This meant that the ruler's rationality and indifference toward personal interests were channeled into making decisions that served the greater good of the state. It was a philosophy of action, promoting patriotism and public service. Now, fast forward to today. Can we see echoes of this philosophy in contemporary leadership? Think about leaders who prioritize the interests of their nation above all else. Do they embody a form of neo-Stoicism, guided by their interpretation of raison d'etre? Consider the ethical dilemma. Can a leader's commitment to the state ever justify morally ambiguous actions? Does the pursuit of a greater good legitimize ethically questionable means? These questions tug at the very fabric of our moral compass. As we journey through this exploration of history and philosophy, let's remember that the past has much to teach us about the complexities of governance and human nature. We'll delve deeper into the enigmatic world of power politics and how it continues to shape the course of history. So, dear viewers, ponder these thoughts and join me as we continue our quest for understanding. As our exploration continues, we arrive at a chapter in history that's both complex and contemporary: Putin's vision and the new Russia. Picture this, my friends. The turn of the 21st century, a time of great change and transition for Russia. A leader named Vladimir Putin emerges onto the world stage, offering a vision of a new Russia. But what exactly does this vision entail? Putin's leadership has been characterized by a strong, centralized state, emphasizing national pride, stability, and a return to Russia's historical greatness. Some argue that his approach mirrors elements of raison d'etat, where the state's interests are paramount. Now let's engage in a thought experiment, shall we? Imagine you're a Russian citizen during this time. You've witnessed the chaos and uncertainty of the post-Soviet era, and along comes a leader promising order and strength. What would you prioritize? Individual liberties or the stability of your nation? It's a profound question, one that many Russians have grappled with. Putin's vision, with its emphasis on centralized authority and sovereignty, has garnered both support and criticism. Some view it as a pragmatic approach to rebuilding a fractured nation, while others raise concerns about the erosion of democratic values. This brings us to another intriguing point. How does Putin's leadership impact Russia's place on the global stage? Think about the notion of raison d'etat in the context of international relations. Does it mean pursuing a foreign policy that's solely in the best interests of the state? In the interconnected world we live in, the decisions of one leader can have ripple effects across the globe. So, can Putin's vision for Russia be reconciled with the interests of other nations? Or do we find ourselves in a perpetual tug of war between raison d'etat on the international stage? As we contemplate these questions, it becomes clear that philosophy isn't confined to the dusty pages of history. It's alive and ever-evolving, woven into the tapestry of our world. We'll delve even deeper into the intricacies of contemporary geopolitics and the role of philosophy in shaping the destinies of nations. The final chapter of our journey: contemporary application and conclusion. As we've traversed through the annals of history and the intricacies of philosophy, we've arrived at a pivotal moment, a crossroads where the past meets the present. The ideas we've explored, from raison d'etat to neo-Stoicism, Cardinal Richelieu's influence, and Putin's vision, are not relics of the past. They are living, breathing concepts that continue to shape our world. Think about this. As we grapple with pressing global challenges like climate change, economic inequality, and political unrest, how can these philosophical insights guide us toward a more harmonious future? Let's consider the concept of raison d'etat. In an age of interconnectedness, where our actions reverberate globally, can we find a balance between pursuing our national interests and working collaboratively to address the world's most pressing issues? And what about the influence of figures like Cardinal Richelieu? In a world where power politics and diplomacy are ever present, how can we ensure that the pursuit of power serves the greater good rather than leading to strife and conflict? Neo-Stoicism, with its emphasis on personal virtue and inner tranquility, has the potential to guide us through the chaos of modern life. Can we apply these ancient teachings to find solace and wisdom in today's turbulent times? And finally, Putin's vision for a new Russia, a vision that has reshaped geopolitics. How can we understand and engage with this vision in a way that fosters cooperation and stability on the world stage? It's clear that philosophy is not just an intellectual exercise, but a compass for navigating the complexities of our world. Each of us, as thinkers and global citizens, has a role to play in shaping our shared destiny. So, my fellow travelers on this intellectual voyage, as we conclude our journey, remember that philosophy is not confined to dusty tomes. It's a living, breathing force that can guide us toward a brighter future. I leave you with this question: how will you apply the wisdom of the ages to chart a course toward a world of harmony and understanding? Until we meet again, may your thoughts be profound and your journey filled with enlightenment. As our philosophical odyssey comes to a gentle close, let us take a moment to reflect on the profound ideas we've explored and their enduring relevance. In our journey through the pages of history and philosophy, we've embarked on a quest to uncover the essence of raison d'etat, the influence of Cardinal Richelieu, the wisdom of neo-Stoicism, and Putin's vision for a new Russia. We've seen how raison d'etat, the concept that a ruler may prioritize the interests of the state above all else, has shaped the course of nations. but we've also pondered its ethical dimensions and its implications in our interconnected world. Cardinal Richelieu, with his astute political maneuvering, taught us that power is a double-edged sword. It can be used for both noble and nefarious purposes. His legacy reminds us of the weight of responsibility that accompanies positions of influence. Neo-Stoicism, drawing from the ancient wisdom of the Stoics, offered us a path to inner tranquility and moral virtue. We've contemplated how these teachings can provide solace in the midst of the tumultuous seas of modern life. Putin's vision for a new Russia unfolded on the world stage, impacting international relations. We've examined how understanding this vision can foster diplomacy and cooperation in an ever-changing geopolitical landscape. But my fellow seekers of wisdom, our journey is far from over. The philosophies we've explored are not isolated islands of thought, but interconnected strands in the rich tapestry of human understanding. The lessons from these philosophical musings are not confined to the pages of history or ivory towers. They are tools for shaping our world, catalysts for profound change, and guides for individual and collective betterment. As we part ways, I leave you with this enduring question. How will you, as a guardian of wisdom, apply these insights in your life and in our shared global journey? Let the gentle breeze of contemplation guide you, and may the tranquility of philosophical thought bring clarity to your path. By clicking that subscribe button below, you'll become a cherished member of our community, an explorer of thoughts, a connoisseur of ideas. And as you bask in the glow of our future explorations, you'll be among the first to embark on new intellectual voyages. Until our paths cross again, may your thoughts be luminous, your actions wise, and your journey toward enlightenment ever fulfilling.